Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Cupertino. This is the Apple headquarters. This is where everything major happens. And what has happened is Apple's big annual event has just got over and we are here taking a look at the aftermath of it. Lots of things happened out there. 3 new iPhones, a new Apple Watch, a new iPad. All of those are the big pieces of news. But do remember, we'll of course go deeper into each and every one of them. Then I've got a new OPPO phone, a new torture test for a Vivo phone, and a whole lot more. So this is Rajiv Vakni reporting direct from Cupertino in the USA. Let's get started with our very, very special Cell Guru show.
The new iPhones are here. Meet the iPhone 11 Pro and the Pro Max today on the show and find out what is new and upgraded in these iPhones. Apart from the triple rear camera iPhones, Apple also announced an iPhone 11, an iPad and an Apple Watch Series 5. We tell you everything you need to know about them. And we review the OPPO RENO 2Z, which comes with pop-up camera and costs 29,990 rupees. Find out if it is worth your money.
So we're starting off our top story with all that Apple announced. But do remember that this is just a very, very quick look. All the devices are with us and we'll do very, very detailed hands-on reviews very soon. Right now what we're going to do is bring you just a very quick look at everything they've launched. We'll start off with that very moment that Tim Cook walked on to stage.
We've created something truly special. These are the most powerful and most advanced iPhones that we have ever built.
So we start off our journey right here with the iPhones. In my hand, of course, is the iPhone Pro Max. 2 others got released and we will take a look at them, but this really is the one I think that is the most exciting. So first of all, let's start off with the back. 3 cameras at the back. This is the Pro version. 3 cameras at the back, midnight green color. And I'll take you through the 3 cameras first. So there's a wide angle lens, an ultra wide angle lens, a telephoto lens, and you can shoot stills as well as video in all 3 lenses, and you can combine a lot of things and a lot of AI, a lot of artificial intelligence built into that part of it. Then let's move on to the front. Now, whenever Apple comes up with anything new in terms of new technology, they come up with a brand new name of their own. The screen on this is called the Super Retina XDR. Now, it's got, brightness is better, the nits are better, but as always, Apple comes up with a brand new name, but nice looking. Now, do remember, the notch remains, it's not even any smaller, it's just about pretty much the same. There's no in-display fingerprint scanner. That's another bit of a disappointment that has come. But the one thing that everyone was waiting for was battery life. So I am here and very happy to tell you and announce that yes, they've more or less solved that problem. Fast charging is there. The charger is in the box, and even more importantly, on the 11 Pro, 4 hours more than the previous version. 11 Pro Max, 5 hours more battery life, and that I think is a huge thing for Apple fans. So that then are the iPhones. Lots more coming up from here, including the new iPad and the watch.
Apple bids goodbye to Roman letters and names the new iPhones. iPhone 11, the iPhone 11 Pro and the iPhone 11 Pro Max. And since Apple has added the Pro to the names, are they worthy of the Pro tag? The iPhone 11 Pro and Pro Max are literally the same phones with only differences in size, battery and price. Design. The Pro models look strikingly similar to the XS series, except of course the big difference is the triple rear camera lens setup on the back. The phones have a matte finish even though it has a glass design, and the square that houses the cameras is glossy. The Pro models come in 4 colors and our favorite is the debutante Midnight Green. The Pros are IP68 certified, making them water and dust resistant. Display. It's super bright. It's better than the XS with Super Retina XDR display with more pixels on board. The iPhone 11 Pro comes with a 5.8-inch display and the Pro Max with 6.5 inches. There is no 3D touch anymore, not that we used it much anyway. Performance. Both the Pro models are powered by Apple's latest A13 BIONIC chipset, which makes these Pros the fastest iPhones ever. The Face ID got upgraded and will be much faster now. Camera. Optics is where it seems like Apple put all its effort into. Triple rear cameras at the back. There is a 12-megapixel main wide lens, which is joined by a 12-megapixel ultra-wide-angle camera with a 120-degree field of view and a 12-megapixel telephoto lens. The redesigned camera interface makes it easy to switch between lenses. It looks like a great and a convenient way to click photos. There is now a night mode too on board to click good shots with less noise and low light. Apple claims to have the best video recording ever seen on a smartphone in the new Pros. All 4 lenses, including the front 12-megapixel True Depth camera, can capture 4K video at up to 60 frames per second. A new Quick Take feature lets you shoot video while capturing photos just by long pressing on the shutter button. This can help you capture moments without having to switch modes like we have seen in Instagram. An improved cinematic video stabilization feature should keep the shake out of any videos you shoot with the new iPhone 11 Pro. Apple says that editing tools once available only for still photos will make their way to video editing with the iPhone 11 Pro. The video fun doesn't stop with the rear camera. The iPhone 11 Pro lets you shoot slow-motion selfies, which Apple calls slow-fies, and we can't wait to try it. The new iPhones will run on iOS 13, which gets a dark mode, a more private way to sign into apps and websites with Sign In with Apple and all-new Maps experience. The iPhone 11 Pro and the iPhone 11 Pro Max will be available in 64GB, 256GB and 512GB variants and are priced starting at Rs 99,900 and Rs 1,09,900 respectively. They will come to India on the 27th of this month.
Now I have in my hand the iPhone 11. New colors and a lot of new features, but I'm going to now tell you about a new thing, something I've never used in the same sentence as when I use the term Apple, an aggression in price. The iPhone 11 is actually priced lower than when the iPhone XR came out. So this is $699. When it comes to India, of course, that price will change a little. But the fact that it's lower priced itself is quite incredible and for a very interesting phone. So first and foremost, we're going to start off with colors. This, of course, is the yellow. There is a new green color that's come in. And then you see these 2 lenses. This is a wide angle. This is an ultra wide angle. And you can do a lot of things with these 2 lenses and the AI that they've built in. Then, of course, is a whole lot more things like it's water resistant. It's got a brand new A13 Bionic chip that again is a bit of a game changer. So the kind of things this chipset can do, they call it the most powerful CPU in any smartphone. That's what Apple says. And then I have to tell you something else that I've always liked about these phones, and that is the hand feel. Feels really good to hold these phones in the hand. They're very well built, very nicely put together. Let's take a look at all the other new things they've done with the brand new iPhone 11.
The very first in Apple's trio of phones this year and stepping considerably down the price ladder is the Apple iPhone 11. It's not leading the trio, but it's the iPhone that won't burn a hole in your pocket, unlike its siblings with a price tag of 64,900 rupees in India. Apple has bet big on the optics this year and the 11 is no exception. There's one more camera on this phone, so it's a dual camera setup on the back. There's a 12-megapixel wide-angle lens with a f1.8 aperture and optical image stabilization. And there's a second 12-megapixel ultra-wide-angle shooter with a f2.4 aperture and a 120-degree field of view. There's a new and dedicated night mode now, and there's an enhanced portrait mode. The photo button can now just be long pressed to start recording a video. Apple calls this Quick Take. The dual rear cameras also support 4K video recording at 60 FPS. The iPhone 11 is basically a rebranded and an upgraded version of the iPhone XR. This goes for the front camera as well, which has been bumped up to a 12-megapixel shooter. This camera can now shoot 4K selfie videos and even supports what might be the new rage soon, slow-fies. And when it comes to battery, the iPhone 11 promises to give 1 more hour than its predecessor, and it is an improvement in that aspect. Like its bigger siblings, the iPhone 11 runs on the new A13 Bionic chipset. Apple claims this is a chipset with the fastest CPU and GPU ever. Apple has brought out and increased its color palette for the iPhone 11. The phone is available in 6 new colors including purple, yellow, green, black, white and product red. The notch is still there on the iPhone 11 and the screen size is 6.1 inches. It is still a liquid retina display and haptic touch is also still very much there. There's now spatial audio and Dolby Atmos support as well. The iPhone 11 is water and dust resistant with an IP68 rating. This is the same as the iPhone XR. So starting at 64,900 rupees, the iPhone 11 will be available in 3 storage variants, 64GB, 128GB and 256GB. And like the Pro variants, the iPhone 11 will be available in India on September 27th.
And what you were and are looking at is the 7th generation of the iPad. So I'm going to start off by telling you a few things that have changed. Of course, Apple Pencil can be used on this, but for the first time ever now, the smart keyboard is completely and totally compatible with this. Just snap it in and it just starts working. Nothing else for you to do. So Apple Pencil compatible smart keyboard out here. And then notice something about this screen. It's bigger, it's 10.2 inches versus 9.7 inches from before, and that makes a big difference in the way it looks. But I think if you put it all together, I think the biggest difference comes in with the iPad OS, the operating system just built for the iPad. Till now, the iPhone and the iPad have shared the operating system, and there wasn't much to really distinguish or differentiate between the two. But now, with an iPad OS that completely and totally has been built from the ground up for this, the iPad, and the fact that this now works on the iPad OS, I think is the biggest change. So let's take a look at what all this new iPad can do.
As always, Apple's launch extended beyond the new iPhones, and there's a new iPad on the block. This is the Apple iPad 7th generation, and it's probably the most bang for your buck product announced at the Apple event this year. The price has been brought down a bit and the new iPad starts at 29,900 rupees. There's a 10.2-inch Retina display with nearly 3.5 million pixels. Under the hood, the new iPad runs on the A10 Fusion chip, and Apple makes a tall claim here saying it's 2 times faster in performance than the top-selling Windows PC right now. The iPad still supports the Apple Pencil and now even the full-size smart keyboard. It runs on a new iPad OS which is customized specially for the experience of an iPad. Well, the iPad promises an all-day battery life and is priced at 29,900 rupees for the Wi-Fi model and 40,900 rupees for the Wi-Fi plus cellular model. The Apple Pencil is available to buy separately for 8,500 rupees.
And now we're moving on to these. These are the brand new Apple Watch Series 5. Quite a few changes. In my hand are the new titanium ones. There's also a new ceramic watch that's come out, but the titanium ones are looking really interesting. 2 completely different finishes on them. But if I was to break it down to what's brand new, so first of all, I've already said it, the titanium and the ceramic materials are new. But I think the biggest change is the always-on display. And I think this is a very interesting change from any smartwatch in any category because it's one of the most important things in a smartwatch. There are so many times when you're actually using a smartwatch that you really can't have your wrist switch around or turn around for the display to come on in the middle of a workout or any of the other areas. Now you have an always-on display. It dims and becomes a little bit different, and I'm going to demonstrate that to you, but it is very, very readable. So I think that's the biggest change that they've really brought in. The other one would be the compass. That's huge because now with the built-in compass, you can do a lot of things that were just not possible before, and it's also because it's open to all other apps. They'll be able to use it very, very well. So that's in a nutshell the brand new Apple Watch Series 5. Let's take a more detailed look.
Apple has introduced the next generation Apple Watch, and this time it promises to stay always on for you. Along with the latest iPhones and the iPad, Apple announced a new Apple Watch Series 5, which comes with subtle improvements over the Series 4. The design and size of the new watch is very similar to last year's Apple Watch. The big new feature this time is an always-on display option, enabling you to see the time without having to move your wrist. This was a much-awaited feature, which is finally here. The good news is that even with the always-on display, this watch maintains the 18-hour battery life seen on the Watch Series 4. Apple has redesigned the watch faces and workouts to take advantage of the new display. Apple has also included a built-in compass in the watch, which looks beautiful. There is an international emergency calling feature for safety, and it even works with fall detection if enabled. The Watch Series 5 runs with watchOS 6. This includes the new cycle tracking app and noise app. The Apple Watch Series 5 will be available in a recycled aluminum, titanium finishes, the stainless steel and the ceramic options from prior models are also available. Apple Watch Series 5 starts at 40,900 rupees for the GPS model and will cost 49,900 rupees for the GPS plus cellular model.
Okay, so we're done with the Apple part of the story, but now let's move on to the other big headline stories I have, the big reviews. We'll start off with the OPPO RENO 2. Now I know I've done the OPPO RENO 2, but remember 3 phones got launched, and now we're going to take a look at the second one, the OPPO RENO 2 Z. Again, a very, very interesting phone from OPPO.
OPPO stunned us with the optics in the RENO 2, but luckily for us, OPPO went with what we call triplets in the OPPO RENO 2 series this time, which means the OPPO RENO 2 was not alone with the basket of specs. There was the OPPO RENO 2F and the 2Z. And here with a lot of zeal, we have the OPPO RENO 2Z with us. With a starting price around 7,000 rupees lower than the RENO 2, what features does the phone shave off? And what's the Z factor or the Z factor with the RENO 2Z? Starting with the design of the phone, the OPPO RENO 2Z is a stunner. Like the RENO 2, it comes with an illuminated LED-like back pattern, and this is the luminous black variant. It did attract some smudges though. The pop-up camera is not shark fin shaped and is a regular pop-up camera lodged in the center of the phone. We used the phone and even played a game on it, and it gave us great game performance specifically. This is thanks to the MediaTek HELIO P90 chipset the phone runs on. The chipset competes with the Snapdragon 710 chipset and has a lot to offer. There's also an 8GB RAM under the hood, and the phone is sufficiently fast in performance. The screen is very nice for watching videos. It is a 6.53-inch full-screen display, and like the RENO 2, this too is an AMOLED display. We love the color reproduction and the brightness as well. The screen is Corning Gorilla Glass 5 protected. In fact, not just the front but also the back. The optical in-display fingerprint scanner is pretty fast, and we found it to be lag-free. The traditional pop-up camera rises with little light every time, which looks nice. There is a 16-megapixel shooter on it, and it gave us good selfies in daylight. Back of the phone has a quad camera setup, and the lenses are under the glass, which make the back look smooth, and it's a nice design. Like the more premium RENO 2, this phone also has the same 48-megapixel primary lens. This is with an 8-megapixel ultra-wide lens, a 2-megapixel monochrome sensor, and a 2-megapixel portrait sensor. There are many camera modes to play around with. The ultra-wide shots give a 119-degree field of view, which is okay. The shots were slightly saturated, but the 48-megapixel lens gave us impressive details on images. We tried the night mode, and the low-light shots were good and not too grainy. The videos we took were quite stable. Because of the ultra-steady mode, the 2Z boasts of. The phone runs on ColorOS 6.1 on Android 9 Pie. There's not too much bloatware in the UI. Gaming, watching videos and using this phone got us through one day of heavy use. The 4000 mAh battery seems sufficient, and OPPO has retained the VOOC 3.0 fast charge on this phone. Our verdict: at 29,990 rupees, the OPPO RENO 2Z packs in the pizzazz of a premium camera phone. The unique design language sets it apart, and although it is so similar to the OPPO RENO 2, it doesn't compromise on too many features. Of course, the 2Z comes at a more attractive price point than the RENO 2 and wins our heart in that aspect.
And now let's move on to the torture test. Now we're doing this specially because with the Vivo Z1X, lots of very, very cool things on that phone, including a very aggressive price. But I think one of the things people have loved on that phone is the 4500 mAh battery. Even though it's a very thin phone with great fast charging, one of the things people loved is the 4500 mAh battery. So we said, if that's become the biggest deal on that phone, why not put it through the torture test? So we've devised our own personal torture test. Let's see how well the Z1X fares.
Who doesn't want a phone that never dies on you, lasts you an entire day? Everyone does, right? We reviewed the Vivo Z1X last week on Cellguru and we have to say that it is a solid phone. We were exceptionally impressed with its battery life, but then we didn't test it under extreme conditions. But now we plan to do just that. The Vivo Z1X comes with 4500 mAh of battery, which is quite decent for a smartphone. But how long does it last? Well, we charged the phone to 100% with the 22-watt fast charger at 8 AM and then played video on loop on YouTube. All day, continuously. The phone didn't heat up and it surprised by lasting 10 hours with video being played non-stop. In general use, the Z1X easily lasted us 1.5 days, and yes, we did play a game in between. We have to say we are really bowled over with the battery performance of Vivo and can assure you that this phone lasts long.
That then is the Cellguru show for this week. Came to you all the way from here in Cupertino in USA, Apple headquarters. Do remember, lots coming up next week, including a brand new Lenovo phone. I'll see you back in India.